Hi, my name is Corey Williams. First of all, I was diagnosed with ADHD at 33 years old, which was strange because that's typically diagnosed in younger children. And the general consensus is usually that's only hyperactive kids and troublemaking kids. And the thing was, I was a shy, introverted kid, and so no one saw it. Um, and then, my experience as a student is essentially adults in my life, teachers and parents, they saw me go from being a pretty bright, intelligent kid who liked school to, as I became older and got into my teenage years, like a lazy student who didn't apply themselves and hated school. And quite frankly, I just thought they were right. I ended up dropping out of college because I thought, okay, everyone says school's not for me, and so it's not. Um, I ended up going to therapy around 32 or so, and the crazy thing there is they quickly diagnosed me as ADHD. I was going for unrelated things, but they did that, and then all of a sudden you start looking back and going, "Wow, that would have been valuable information to know when I was a student." And because I'm in college now, obviously, my experience knowing I have ADHD and how to navigate it is much different than when I was 20 and in college and trying to figure out why none of this interested me and why I couldn't focus. And so it's been hugely beneficial to me. And the thing is therapy wasn't a big deal for me. I mean, I went in my 30s as an adult, uh, and that's an entirely different construct than going at a younger age when you just care a lot about the opinions of people around you. But I did receive a lot of opinions unwanted from a lot of people that were, oh, therapy's for crazy people. It's for broken people. It's for addicts. It's for godless people. It's just for the mentally insane, and I'm none of those things. And it's unfortunate that therapy carries the stigma of being, just something for broken, bad people, and that you have to have guilt and shame and embarrassment to even consider going, and I think that's wrong. And if we want to talk about a period of life in which everyone should try therapy at least once, it's probably at 18 when they graduate high school and are thrown into an adult world, which is the experience of all college students. You come out of a school system that's catered to you, and you're kind of more or less forced to be in it and forced to engage in it. Then you're thrown into one that, quite frankly, says, we don't care if you show up or not as long as you pay your tuition. And you're kind of responsible for yourself and the identity you spent your whole life creating. That no longer matters. It's this huge traumatic life change, really, to just break it down into its most simple form. And college students need, the mental health, plane of college students is just absolutely crazy. It's very stressful. It's very anxiety inducing. Can be lonely. It can create all these things. And so I want to speak on behalf of college students, not just in Oklahoma, but across the country, in how we normalize therapy. How do we make it a normalized, construct in the mindset of college students? And then how do we tackle also the costly aspect of it? How do we make it more accessible and affordable? How do we raise awareness on this? So, first of all, I just recently had a conversation actually with a friend of mine. She's 22, and she just unloaded on me a lot of issues. And she's like, "Well, you've gone to therapy. Let me tell you about my stuff." Kind of as if I could be a therapist. And so I listened, but then I am morally obligated to say, "Hey, sounds like you could benefit from therapy." And she kind of went, "Whoa, that's cool that it's worked for you, but what would people think if I went?" And that's the first hurdle, is that it's just seen as if you go to therapy, you're somehow less than everyone else who apparently can get through life without it. And that's stupid. That's absolutely false information, and that's not how people should feel if they feel like they need assistance in their mental health. The second hurdle is obviously access and cost. Psychology Today says that the average cost of a therapy session is between $100 and $200, and let's face it, that's not financially feasible for most college students. Now, universities, most of them have on-site counseling. It's just a lot of students don't know about it. A lot of on-site counseling on universities is understaffed, underfunded, and underprepared to even deal with a fraction of a student body's needs. Even the small percentage that's looking for them may not even know they're there, which pushes them towards private therapists or outside therapists for profit who are expensive. And so the JED Foundation is a nonprofit organization that deals specifically with mental health in students. And they actually recently did surveys mainly just to assess the mental health state of students in the COVID-19 world, but they found some really interesting stuff. One is that 82% of them deal with anxiety in some form or fashion, with 60% struggling in things such as depression, loneliness, isolation, and lack of focus. And then when asked how they're dealing with these mental health concerns, most of them just threw out friends and music, which is, that's great, that's fine, and get your mind off some of these things, but those interlying, mental health concerns are still there once the music stops and once your friends go home. And so they're just kind of putting band-aids on bullet wounds, mentally speaking. And then third, when these students were asked, if your school could provide any sort of virtual program at all, what would it be? And 71% of them said virtual counseling. And so you see that college students understand that their mental health is at risk, that there's issues here, but they just only 30% are actually seeking any sort of actual professional help. And so, what do we do there? And so, I'm proposing a mental health communications program that educates and then provides mental health services to college students under the title "Keep Calm and Study On." Now, there's a lot of small programs already called this in a lot of universities because it's hijacking a very famous slogan. But I'm proposing making it a national program essentially. And so first of all, Keep Calm and Carry On. Originally it's from 1939. Britain slogan for World War II for their population to get behind: keep calm and carry on. And then now, obviously, it exists very much in the college culture through chive and memes and all this other stuff. But therefore, it's already recognizable, and it's free domain. It's nothing you have to. Yeah, it's going to cost us to take, and it's already recognizable. And so, first of all, I think you start locally. I think you start with your on-site counseling, providing assemblies that educate incoming students. All incoming students should be required to attend an assembly put on by the on-site counselors that provide information. Here's local therapists. Here's us, and here's our hours, and and all that. Because a lot of times students don't even know this stuff exists, and I think that also comes down to university websites have to put this stuff out forefront. Those are big websites with whole libraries on them, and and enrollment and Blackboard, all this stuff, and you gotta really gotta search for counseling information. And therefore, I also think it's important for universities to create social media pages for their on-site counseling staffs. With again, frequently updating, hey, here's our hours. Hey, don't forget, you can book here, you can go this, you can go to this link. Here's some mental health statistics. Hey, it's finals week. Here's some calming exercises, some de-stressing exercises that you could really utilize social media in that way. And I do also think that colleges can partner, at least try to bring in local therapists in their community to say, hey, can you offer student discounts to students who maybe can't fit in with one of our on-site counselors, or maybe they need to go beyond the skills of an on-site counselor and they need to get with you. I think that is absolutely feasible, and you would probably find a lot of therapists that would be more than willing to deal with students who can't normally afford their services. And then also, I think you have to meet college students on their turf, and so I think that you could roll out a plan called Students Need Space, and figure out how to partner with the mental health apps Talkspace and Headspace. Headspace being a app that teaches de-stressing exercises, meditative exercises. Talkspace being an actual 24/7 access to a counselor in your pocket, essentially through your phone. Both of them cost money. Headspace is pretty affordable. Talkspace is very unaffordable for a college student, and so I think that you could have a synergetic partnership between the program Keep Calm and Study On and these two apps, saying, hey, give us big student discount rates, or provide this for free for enrolled college students, and you may build customers that once they graduate, they'll still continue to pay for your service. They'll become paying customers. But help us meet this need. And obviously, it's great PR for them to partner with a program that is trying to wipe out, mental health issues in college students. And then I think at the end of the day, this succeeds for obviously in educating college students, letting them know, hey, we have on-site counseling. Hey, we can get you hooked up with this therapist at an affordable rate. They'll work with you on your budget, or hey, we can provide these apps. I think it just throws out options that a lot of college students don't even know they have, and then universities in a program that can say, hey, we're going to help cover the cost, or hey, through this program, it's free. And but most importantly, I think what this does, aside from just educate, is it normalizes therapy for college students. Once information's out there, once it's placed in front of them, and one student takes that step towards therapy, more will follow. And then once the herd majority is doing it, it's just normal. This is what college students do. And I think that goes beyond, that ripple effects out. I mean, just to close, I think that mental health assistance is unfairly stigmatized as just being for bad, broken people, whereas therapy is healthy for the most sane person on the planet. It can only be beneficial. It's no different than being physically active or eating right just to take care of your physical body. This is just that, but for your mental health. And by doing this, by tackling this problem at this age in college students and teens and things like that, you're going to ripple effect out past just college students, though, to where if we can provide this stuff for college students, if we can get them past the stigma of mental health, and provide access to great services that doesn't dent their wallet or put them further in debt, they're going to continue on that mental health journey past college, and they'll become middle-aged adults who tout the amazingness of tackling your mental health and taking care of it, and they'll teach their kids that, and then all of a sudden you've just changed the culture of mental health, and the stigma that mental health is bad is dead forever. It actually just improves the mental health of the world in the future. Thank you.